Hi, my name is Catherine. I'm an artist, so let me tell you about the install I just did last week. So I flew into Portland, Oregon, and this is what the space looked like. And let me tell you, that was what my nightmares were telling me it was going to be like. I literally almost bailed on this project a week before because I just felt like there was no way I was going to be able to complete this install. This is a project called the No Vacancy Project, and it takes 17 artists and gives them a window space in a vacant building in the Chinatown area. I used to live in Portland from 2007 to 2018. I went to undergrad art school here at a craft school called Oregon College of Art and Craft, which no longer exists. But I learned a lot of the processes I still use today, like cyanotype printing, alternative process photography, and just like a deep love for craft and handmade things. So when I was invited to do this project, it felt important because this part of town used to be really crucial to artists when I was living here. And this part of town specifically shaped me as an artist. So here I am getting ready for the opening. I came from Central California, so I'm used to heat, but man, it was humid this night. So this was a really great choice because it let me sweat. And here are some of the other artists. This is Ruby. She made these really cool garments and she's obsessed with clocks. This is Adia. She made this really beautiful fountain. There's the curator, Lauren. This is Sade. He makes really cool, amazing portraits of his friends. And this is Julie. I was so impressed with her ceramics, and she hand paints the text and these images on her pottery, and it is so stunning. So new lifelong fan here. Can you tell I was obsessed with these, and oh my god, she looks so cute and her space was so awesome. This was Wesley. He was awesome. He let me in his space when I was panicking because mine was still boarded up, and he really transformed his space. This is Ryan. She didn't stay for the opening too long, but it was great talking to her about the WNBA. And this is Kim. Her husband actually helped put the whole thing on. Like, he works for the city, but also knows how to talk to artists. And then this is my space. The very last minute, I decided to bring double the amount of prints I was planning on bringing. So I brought 16, and it worked out perfectly because there were 8 and 8 on either side of the way the window is split, which I'd only ever seen a few photos, so I didn't exactly know what I was working with. I also made these 2 quilts. They're about like 60 by 40 inches, but the way that the panes in the glass are, you can barely see them, which is a bummer because that's really what I spent the bulk of my time trying to crank out. So, and I didn't even really get good photos of them before I installed. So life of an artist, whatever, I'll get them back on November 30th when we take down the show. But here's me just kind of explaining my process, explaining what I was thinking, why it was important for me to bring this specific medium to this area, and kind of the conversation I'm trying to have with like the ghosts I've left behind in Portland and the icky feelings it brings up just due to some of the trauma I experienced here. I went through an abusive marriage here and I fled. And so being an artist that has such strong bonds and connections with the Portland community still, and it's still being a place where I often show, has been really interesting because every time I come back, it's like I'm a new version of myself. I'm a better, more successful artist, and I'm proving that old version of myself and everything I told myself I was going to be totally wrong. So this show, even though I did try to bail a week before because I just had like this feeling that the windows were going to be still boarded up when I got there, I'm so glad I decided to do it, and that I decided to fly and only bring prints and quilts and trusted my tuition on that. The quilts do say, maybe it's because you grew up in a haunted house, that chill down your spine felt familiar instead of dangerous, which is a thing I wanted to say out loud to Portland, sort of giving myself permission that some of the choices I made and the people I let into my life weren't all necessarily exactly my fault alone, and giving myself permission to take up space again in the city. So go check out No Vacancy in Portland, Oregon.